Welcome to the preparation series for Pranayama online training. Today I want to talk to you about the right sitting position for spiritual practices. This goes for pranayama as well as for meditation. And many people underestimate the importance of the correct sitting position and forget that there are very specific rules for the right sitting. And that there are rules is because our body is full with energy channels. We call them nadis. And they have to be in the correct conformation so that the energy can flow freely without any blocks, without any hurdles, and that the goal of the practice, the expansion of awareness, can happen easily. So the nadis have to be in the right conformation, and the chakras, these are our energy centers. Let's talk only about the main energy centers. They have to be aligned and above each other. They are located alongside our spine, and there are two more above our spine, in the head and above the head. So everything has to be in the right position so that energy can flow the way it's supposed to. But our spine is not a straight line. Our spine has a double S curve. And this curving is different in all individuals. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but it's always there. And it has to be intact, also in the sitting position. The rule is, when you stand up and touch the lower part of your spine, your lower back, you can feel the curve there, the natural curve. You stand completely relaxed. And when you sit down, the curve has to be exactly in the same position. If you sit, for example, on the floor, and the curve declines or even goes away, you have to level up your sitting position. So this is the first rule to watch out for, that your spine is straight, which means curved, double S curved. Straight means that the root of your spine and the crown of your head are in one line, 90 degrees angle to the floor. Do not lean forward or backward. Do not tilt to the one or the other side, and no twists are allowed. Whether we can sit on the floor or we want to practice on a chair just depends on the openness of your hips. And hips have to be opened from the front and from the back. But don't force yourself. Don't force yourself in positions that are too advanced. Your hips will open over time, and your sitting position will improve over time, and your sitting height will come down more and more. But it is absolutely okay and absolutely correct to start with a practice sitting on a chair, because the most important rules have to be observed and not an image in the mind, what it means to practice like a yogi. Well, you did not grow up sitting on the floor. Most of you did not. So it's very natural that the hips are not open enough for those sitting positions. Now, the lotus seat is very, very good for any practice, any sitting practice, but it is mostly not good for anyone in the West because people are not flexible enough. Yet, of course, you can practice and achieve also the lotus seat. So whenever you have time, let's say you watch TV or you have a talk with a friend, then practice. Practice sitting, practice your hip openers. But when you really do your sadhana, your spiritual practice, do not struggle. You take the perfect position, your personal perfect sitting position, so that you can focus on the practice and not on tension or on stretching. When you have attained your sitting position, let's say on a chair, make sure that you're on the rim of a chair. When you have some support to sit on, make sure that you're on the rim. Your thighs are free. And from there, you start moving your hips. Tilt your pelvis backward and forward, and the movement has to be completely free. If there is any obstruction, you probably do not sit high enough. So you have the same range of movement in your correct sitting position as in your standing position. Some more rules for the sitting. Your knees always have to be below your hip joints. Maximum at the same height, but better a little bit lower. Your shoulders have to be relaxed. No tension in your upper back. No tension in your neck. Chest open and the whole body relaxed. Your firm foundation, it has to be stable like a pyramid. And a good sitting position also looks like a pyramid. You're balancing the whole spine and your head on your foundation so that you can relax your body completely without falling, without tilting to any side. And that you can relax is absolutely necessary for all sadhana. When you completely relax, there is no movement anymore. So you can focus on the inner workings, on your practice, on your breath, on your mind. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras say Sthira Sukham Asanam. The position has to be stable and effortless. And this is so important. This is so important because when we practice, our awareness expands. Yes, our brainwaves change, our biochemistry changes, the physiology in our body changes. But that is all on the physical level. What happens deeper is the expansion of awareness. And your position has to be as perfect as possible because you become aware of every small detail. If there is a wrinkle in your support you're sitting on, if there is a slight tension in your hip joints, an unpleasant feeling in your ankles, or a tension in your shoulders or your lower back because you try to hold the nice position, but you were not aware that you have to put effort to hold the position. That's why please follow the golden rules of perfect sitting, so that this does not happen to you. When we practice, we should really be with the practice and not get distracted by physical details. So there can be no tension in the body. It is important to avoid numbness. If there is numbness, you're squeezing nerves. That's not good. Nerves are energy channels, like the nadis. We practice to open the energy channels, make everything flow. So no numbness, it's unhealthy. Whenever something gets numb, then please get out of the position. There can be no pain. Some discomfort is alright. The mind starts to struggle at some point, especially in meditation, and says, I don't like this anymore, let's get out and play. But pain is a different thing. Pain means injury, and it has to be avoided. So when your knee starts to scream, then please listen and get out of the position. Neither any spine looks the same way, nor any hips. The whole anatomy is quite individual. Of course, things are at the same place, but we all look different and nobody really looks like in an anatomy book. So it is very normal that when we sit, the one or the other sitting position is easier for us. Whether you sit on a chair or on the ground with or without support, you can choose any sitting position. You find a link below to different explanations for different sitting positions and just try out. There is not the one thing for everyone. So just try out different positions and find the position that is most feasible for you and where you easily can observe all the rules.